everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kyra and I'm here today to chat with you about taking a tarot reading and putting some action to it. If you're new here on my channel, I make videos about personal and witchy development using tarot, journaling, and astrology. And if that sounds like something you're interested in, I hope you will hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video, and hit that bell notification, and join us here in the YouTube lands. Plus, it really does help a ton. So yeah, for today's video, I really want to talk about what happens after the tarot reading. And I came up with this idea, it started in my head as like, so I've read the tarot, now what? Hashtag after the tarot. And that might very well be what I decided to title this video. And that's the question I want to start talking about. I find it is a really interesting, really important, and cool part of conversation that I don't personally experience as much conversation around it as I would like. I'm not saying it's not out there in YouTube land, and if you are watching this and you happen to know of some creators who talk about what they do after the tarot, please let me know. Please let us know in the comments. I'd love to check it out. In my experience here on YouTube, I haven't found a lot of it. I've seen a lot of content where people talk about like, here's a spread, here are decks that are great for this, here are decks that are great for that. And that content is wonderful. I find it very helpful when people talk about, okay, but what next? How do you take the information that you gleaned from tarot and take it and apply it to your life? What happens after the tarot reading? I find that a very important part of my work. And so I thought, if this is something I'm looking for more content of, maybe I should help create some, because maybe that'll be helpful or what have you. So if you're a creator here on YouTube, I hope you'll consider perhaps doing a VR with the hashtag after the tarot and share with us some things you do after you've done the tarot reading. Share with us some things that are simply answering the question, okay, so I've read the tarot, now what? And the answers will vary, and they don't have to get super personal because not everyone's comfortable sharing really personal stuff, and that's okay. I just want to start generating some conversation around what do we do when we've read the cards? Because that's something I struggle with. I'm fiddling as I talk. That's something I struggle with, where it's like, okay, I've read the cards, I've got the message. How do I actually turn that message into action and apply it to my life? So, I'm here with an example. First, I do find that some tarot readings require action after, or feel like they require action after, whereas some do not. So yeah, there are some tarot readings that I pull the cards, I lay them out, and then I'm done. And then there are some tarot readings where I pull them, I lay it out, and I know there's more to be done than that. And this is actually something I've been trying to work on in my journal as well, is how do I do and take action to that. And I mentioned it in a video, I don't remember which one. Hopefully I'll remember and put it in the cards. Talking about how, oh, by the way, ignore my nails. For some reason it didn't work very well keeping the polish this time. Anyway, I talked in a video recently about how one of the things that I'm using as a separating factor from my Book of Shadows to my bullet journal is my Book of Shadows is where I explore things, is where I do the readings. And then here in my journal is where I'm going to come to and create an actionable spread so I can continue with the work from the readings. And that is actually what I'm going to show you as an example. So far in my practice, though, there's only really one instance where I'm really good. I'm just going to flip through these so you have a visual. Where I'm really good at where I use the reading for something. And that's really my year ahead spread. I've built that to be like a living, thriving thing. And so what happens is every month I pull my year ahead spread, and based on that, I decide some sort of action work I want to do. So that's one way you can use the tarot. You can use it as inspiration based on the messages and decide some like witchy work you want to do. For example, my card this month is the Five of Swords. And it is Libra season. And for me, Libra season is all about my home and my roots and my ancestry. And when I put the idea of the Five of Swords together with the idea of my home and my roots and my ancestry, it creates this idea of at what cost, what's going on with my mental health, at what cost. And that is something that makes me think of self-care. So based on my tarot reading that I do for myself every month from my year ahead spread, I decided on the theme of self-care for my personal work and my witchy work this month. And that is what I've been doing. I have been working on self-care. So I did the reading, and the next step was to pick a theme and then to take action on that theme. Here on my channel, we really like taking intangible things and making them tangible, so that way we can actually do the things we want to do. And here's an example of what I've done. This I did recently. So I did a video where I pulled my tarot, or I pulled like my birth chart in tarot cards. I will link it up above in the cards. That's what this pile of cards is. And it is still here as a pile of cards because I have not actually done the work yet. As you can see, the spread is open. And then with my Witchy Wonders and up, that's my channel membership. You can check out a link to that in the description box below. I did a video where I set this up. And I talked about how I talked about what I wanted to do. I talked about this concept of like, what do we do after the tarot? And I also talked about my brain because I ended up having a huge dissociation episode in the middle of it. And it sucked. But here's my spread. This is what I've done to do this. So the idea here with this deck-in exercise was to use the self-care idea and use this very self-care type deck, the Tarot of Transformation. I also talked about this deck recently in my like this or that style video about the Shadowscapes Tarot, which is linked up above in the cards. This art, I feel it emotionally, and the guidebook I like to the extent of that I thought, well, it could be really cool to look at my tarot cards that represent the astrology in my chart. Go check out that video. I explain it better there, which can help me learn more about my energy, which might bring some revelations, some realizations, some further action steps that I can take, some things that I need to look more deeply into, yada, yada, yada. So what I did here was I created a spread so I could actually do the work with this. Because this is another thing that happens with my tarot, is that I will get big ideas like this with the deck-in, and then I'll kind of forget to finish the idea. This is a tarot reading that requires me to be more active to participate in it. So I made an action spread. And I built it all fairly simple. I looked at each area. So all of these cards here, the Green Man, Mercury, is the Four of Wands, and then the Midheaven and the Sun being the Two of Wands. All of these cards here, represent my the Aries energy in my chart. Aries is associated with the Emperor, the Green Man. So I have that card. It's called the Green Man in this deck, which has the key phrase of ruling in harmony with nature. Love that. My sun and my midheaven in my chart are in the first decan of Aries, which is the Two of Wands. So I have those cards. And then my Mercury is in the last decan of Aries, which is the Four of Wands. So I want to look at all of these pieces and learn more about the Aries part of my chart, which happens to be my 10th house of career, work, yada, yada, yada. So I was like, okay, I need to figure out a way to remember what to do with this. And what I knew was I wanted to look at the astrology of these things. So I wanted to relook at the astrology of Aries and all of these points. I wanted to look at the tarot, which is where these cards come in. And then the question is there any follow-up I want to do? So I wrote down each thing. So I have, and each one, it's roughly vague. Well, sort of. So the major card, Mercury, Two of Wands, midheaven, Sun, Four of Wands. Although those are not in the correct order, but that is okay. So, and then I have three rows of check boxes. One with an A for the astrology, one with a T for the tarot, one with an F for follow-up. So as I go through this, I can give a check mark once I've looked at the astrology of Aries again and just done like a refresher, see if I can learn more, yada, yada. I can give a check mark once I've looked at the tarot and I've read about the Emperor card. And there's a few ways I want to do that. I'm thinking of doing the exercise where I pull out the emperors from all the different decks and write about it. I've done a video like this before. I'll try and remember and link it up above. If not, that's something I could do again in a future video. It's a really cool exercise. You pull it out and you read about it in the guidebooks. And then I just kind of journal. It's fabulous. I really love it. And that helps me learn more about these cards. So I have a check mark for all 5 of these cards, for all 5 of these things that these cards represent. For, have I looked at the astrology of that thing? Have I looked at the tarot of that thing? Is there any follow-up of that thing? So, using a pencil, ideally, all of these boxes, the astrology and the tarot, will be checked off. Not all of them will necessarily have a check mark for follow-up. I'm thinking at this moment in time, and I reserve the right to change my mind, that I will use the check mark to tell me if it is something I am going to follow up on. It's not necessarily like, have you done the follow-up? It's, does it require follow-up? So that way, once I'm done all this, I will have a spread that tells me which points in my chart I want to follow up in. And this is an exercise I can revisit multiple times to see how I'm feeling, right? That like I could do this many times. I could do this with different decks to get different perspectives, which is a really cool idea now that I say it out loud. But the point of this video is entirely about I want to talk more here on YouTube about what I do after I've read the tarot. I want to talk about taking action on things, doing the damn thing, because it's so important to me and it's something that is so hard. So if my talking about it more would help empower and enable others to feel like maybe they can too, then that's amazing. So I just wanted to come up on here and show you. I have one for each area: Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, Gemini, Aquarius, Taurus, and Leo. I did not pull for the outer planets in my chart because I don't really use the outer planets much in my astrology practice currently. I am planning to make some astrology goals for myself for the upcoming year. I have lots of ideas percolating in my head. But for today, that was really all I wanted to do. I just wanted to quickly come up on here and introduce this concept, see if it's of interest of you. If you find the idea of talking about like what we do after the tarot interesting, please let me know in the comments down below, because this is something I could see becoming kind of like an intermittent series where sometimes Kyra comes on and says, here's what I did after the tarot. And there's lots of things you can do, right? It could be a spread and some study like this. It could be a follow-up with shadow work, with boundary work, with doing ritual, with creating a spell. There's lots of ways that this could go. And this is why I like this, because this helps me develop that personal and witchy practice that I have. So if you enjoyed this and you like this concept, please do let me know, because I could come back to tell you about the follow-up on these different areas, depending on what feels right, periodically. So please do let me know in the comments down below. And that's where I'm going to leave it for today. So if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up to let me know you did. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so you can come on back nice and easily. In the description box below, you'll find a link to check out my channel membership. There's also sometimes a join button beside the subscribe button. It depends. It's kind of finicky. I don't quite understand the logistics of when it's there versus not. So it's also linked in the description. You can check out my channel membership. I have lots of tiers and lots of rewards and things. And it is a really, really great way that you can join and support my channel, help me to continue doing the work I love, and get some more content and a monthly live reading and stuff like that. Also in the description box below, you will find my website. I'm a professional astrologer and tarot reader, and I specialize in combining the two to create really unique services for my clients. If that sounds interesting, you can check that out at my website. And if you have any questions about my services, about my videos, about anything you just think that I might be able to help you with, or if you have requests for videos, my email is also in the description box, so you can shoot me a message anytime from there. I'm going to let you go here, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Lots of love. Bye.